Okay, let's try another way. I'm going to go ahead and delete the pad. In your previous classes, you should have learned a little bit about creating planes. So there's another workbench for planes. Also, planes exist here in Essentials, and this is the plane feature. If I create a plane and I do an offset type, and for a reference, I'm going to use the YZ plane. I could pick YZ off the tree, or I could pick this plane right here. I'm going to go 5 inches, reverse the direction, and select OK. So this plane is parallel to the YZ plane 5 inches back, or it's negative 5 inches in the X direction. Let's do one in the positive direction. Again, I select the plane feature. The plane defaults to go into the geometrical set. When I'm doing this, I really should have the geometrical set as my plane feature, and also this is supposed to be renamed as to be construction geometry. With the plane, with construction geometry underlined, meaning it's the defined in-work object, anything I create should go in the construction geometry. So it's a good habit to always make sure to watch the tree to make sure your part or plane or whatever is landing in the appropriate place. I'll select plane, and I'm going to select the YZ plane again, and I'm just going to leave it at 5 inches and not reverse the direction in this case, and select OK. Now when I go to the pad feature, it's going to give me this warning here, so I'll say OK, and I'm going to cancel what I'm doing, and I'm going to make sure I don't screw this up by making sure the part body is indeed the in-work object so that the solid lands where it belongs. I'm going to take this sketch. Oh, you notice that my tree's moving side to side and up and down, and my part's not moving, and it's a little bit under intensified. I accidentally selected on a vertical line of the specification tree. When I reselect the specification tree, this line becomes bold, and it allows me to move this part around. Let's go ahead and create a pad. And I'm going to select sketch 1. It remembers the last values we were using and tries to build it from that. I'm going to switch dimension to plane. And I'm going to select this plane here. You notice it goes to that plane. So it went from that plane and is now going 5 inches. If I select OK, and I choose to move this plane, in my geometrical set, under construction geometry, I can double click plane number 1, and I can change that value from 5 to 10. And watch what happens. The solid stretches and goes wherever I want. So I'm linking it to a plane. So if I want this face to follow this plane wherever it goes, what I would do is double click the pad, and for the second limit, type, dimension, we switch it to plane. And then we pick this plane, and I select OK. And now this solid is linked to those planes. Wherever the planes go, this part will go. If I change offset number 2 to 1 and hit enter, notice that this plane moved back closer to the axis system 1 inch away in the positive X direction, and so did my part. Again, if I change this 1 to 15, it's recalculating it and it stretches to follow that plane. Same thing with this one. If I double click this and change it to 1, it's going to move much closer to the axis. I'll double click this and change it to 9. and it moves it further away from the axis. Why would I want to do that? If these planes represent a part it's supposed to fit between and the part changes, this plane should be linked to the other part. So if that other part changes in length, my part will automatically change with that part. You'll learn more about that in more advanced classes with relational design. All right, that concludes this exercise on how to create a solid using up to plane features.